In the year that a great king died, the prophet Isaiah was granted a vision that transcends time and space. A revelation not of what God does, but of who He eternally is. This vision stands as the ultimate disclosure of divine greatness, the transcendent ontological majesty of God that, when revealed, instantly reduces all creation to its proper scale, silent, prostrate, and overwhelmed. It is the heart of true theology, revealing a scene where every thought of angelic or human pride is extinguished. To understand the staggering weight of this moment, we must first appreciate the celestial angelic hierarchy that fills the throne room of God. Drawing from the full witness of Scripture, we see a universe ordered in worship. Myriads and myriads of the angels who serve as God's messengers to humanity. The archangels who lead and help the angels. The principalities and powers that administer cosmic order. The dominions who regulate the duties of lower celestial beings. And the thrones, which are living symbols of God's impartial justice. All exist in a structured chorus of service. In the immediate, blazing presence of God reside the cherubim, the formidable guardians of the absolute boundary of God's holiness, stationed at the edge of Eden and bearing His throne chariot. And above them all, the seraphim, the burning ones, beings of pure fire and power, stationed directly above the throne, perpetually consumed by the fire of God's presence. And then there was the one known as the Morning Star. Before his fall, he was not merely an angel. He was the anointed cherub, the pinnacle of God's creative artistry. Scripture describes him as full of wisdom, perfect in beauty, adorned with every precious stone. He was the covering cherub, the likely leader of the heavenly worship, a being of unimaginable splendor. His fatal error was to gaze upon his own reflected brilliance and believe it was his own. He forgot he was a mirror, a creature, and in the primal sin of creation, he sought to make his derived glory his own possession, aspiring to be like the Most High. This tragic fall illuminates the heart of true worship as demonstrated by the faithful seraphim. The loyal angels possess an unbroken consciousness that every ounce of their beauty, might, and holiness is a gift. It is derived, not inherent. Their fiery existence is a continuous, grateful reception from the infinite source. This stands in complete opposition to the fallen angels who forgot their origin and destination, trading the eternal reality of being a glorious creature for the impossible lie of being a self-made God. This profound understanding is expressed non-verbally in the very posture of the seraphim. Their use of 6 wings is a silent sermon on how to approach the holy God. With 2 wings, they cover their faces, the ultimate act of reverence, acknowledging that even these sinless, perfect beings cannot endure the direct, unfiltered gaze upon the fullness of His glory. With 2 wings, they cover their feet, a sign of humility, acknowledging that even their foundation, their station, their very existence as the highest creatures is unworthy to be displayed before the self-existent One. With 2 wings, they fly, announcing their constant readiness for ongoing obedience, prepared for even His slightest command to them. The greatest archangels, who have been offering God the flawless sacrifice of pure, sinless worship for millennia, are reduced to postures of veiled humility before Him. It is into this breathtaking scene that the human prophet enters. To grasp the impact, we must understand the stature of Isaiah. He was not an ordinary man. From within the Bible, he is revealed as arguably the greatest of the major prophets, a political and spiritual counselor to kings whose prayers and prophecies literally saved the nation of Judah from annihilation. God performed a miraculous sign through him, moving the sun backward. Outside of Scripture, tradition holds he was of royal blood and was ultimately martyred by being sawn in 2, a man of unwavering conviction. He was the moral, spiritual, and intellectual pinnacle of his generation, the best humanity had to offer. Yet, when confronted with the vision of the Lord sitting upon a throne high and lifted up, and the reverberating cry of the seraphim, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of His glory," this great man does not feel honored. He screams, "Woe is me, for I am lost." In one instantaneous flash of divine self-revelation, he sees the unbridgeable chasm. He witnesses the highest angels veiling themselves and understands that if a sinless seraph cannot look upon God, a sinful man has no hope. His terror is not because he saw a monster, but because he saw the King. Perfect authority, justice, glory, and truth. The presence of absolute holiness does not make him feel a little guilty. It makes him feel annihilated. His identity, his righteousness, his prophetic calling, all of it is revealed as a fragile construct that cannot survive in this environment. He is utterly undone, just as happened to Job, the righteous one, and John, the beloved one. Isaiah is a man of unclean lips, standing before absolute purity. This scene unintentionally displays a hierarchy of existence that shatters all human pride. If the chasm between the greatest human and the highest angel is vast beyond description, and the chasm between the highest angel and God is infinite, then what does this say about the chasm between a sinful or ordinary human, or even a saint, and God? We are not just less good. We are by nature creatures whose very existence is contingent upon the mercy of a being whose holiness would naturally consume us if His mercy vanishes. The solution, as always, comes from God's initiative alone. A seraph flies to Isaiah, not with a comforting word from its own wisdom, but with a burning coal from the altar, the place of sacrifice. This act is staggering in its implication. It confirms that God is not merely a holy being. He is the source and definition of holiness itself. Holiness cannot be shared, it must be imparted. Purification is as severe and painful as fire, yet it is the very fire that by God's grace cleanses instead of consumes. The angel's cry of "Holy, holy, holy" became an enacted reality in that moment. Their praise was not just words, it was instantly true as God's active purifying power touched a human heart, which will never cease to have this need for all eternity. This leads us to the ultimate conclusion, which reorients our entire understanding of divine greatness. Our error is measuring God by what He does, by blessings, miracles, or even creation itself. But these are merely the fringes of His ways. The core of His greatness is not in His actions, but in His being, the great I Am. We blindly and foolishly measure Him by the finite. Our lives, our history, our collective human experience. Yet, even the entirety of created history is insufficient to contain the measure of the limitless One. This is precisely why heaven is eternal. Its joy is the eternal, ever-unfolding discovery of the infinite depths of God's beauty, love, and glory. Conversely, hell is eternal because it is the absence of the infinite, the eternal conscious realization of being cut off from the source of all goodness, beauty, and light. The message of the throne room is this: before the holy, holy, holy Lord of hosts, the only proper posture for any creature, from the highest seraph to the lowliest human, is one of awestruck worship, humble dependence, and grateful reception of a grace that alone can make us fit to stand in His presence. No amount of created excellence, whether Isaiah's righteousness or a seraph's sinless worship, can ever bridge the chasm between the creature and the Creator. Our only hope is the coal from the altar, the grace of God that finds its ultimate fulfillment in the sacrifice of Christ on the cross. The greatest being in the universe and the greatest man on earth both teach us the same lesson. Our boast is not in our own record, but in His grace alone.